9:19, a little bit of change in with Vitality. It's a Wednesday. And we got the commercials going now. Life's looking good for our segments, you know?
I love it. Well, and it was so beautiful. RiverBender does such a good job just creating that commercial.
I just want to say I did not do it. I did not create that. Brandon did. He did a fantastic job.
He did.
He did. It's wonderful.
Well, and I've been really getting to enjoy our segments, you know, and learning more about not only the services you provide over at Vitality now, but just the people that, you know, really make the organization what it is. We also have Carrol Gooding in today. You're an RN, a volunteer for Vitality. And how long have you been with the group, Carrol?
Well, I started volunteering in 2014, so 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and also community Christian, you know, churchgoer too. Always good to see. And as we go into this, what brought you into Vitality or Thrivent would have been at the time, correct?
It was Options Now.
Oh, wow. So because we've talked about the different generations. Yep. And it's kind of cool, though, because so many have lived through the multiple phases and really stay true to that original mission, Jackie. That's cool.
Right.
You know, what brought you to them?
Well, I will have to say, and this will be a plug for later, but it was probably the banquet. My husband and I had attended many of the fundraising banquets that have occurred over many years. But that one particularly sparked my interest in the mission. And also, I was in a point where I was kind of phasing out of clinical nursing and still wanting to be somewhat in nursing, but also start a photography business, which I did for 12 years. So that's it was like a turning point for me. And it was really great. It was a good timing, and God just put it on my heart. So I went with it.
And going into that too, you know, just to refresh everybody, you know, over at Vitality, the mission's compassionate, no-cost care, and really life-affirming support, and from a variety of ways that we've talked about in the last couple of weeks. And, you know, Carrol, take me through your background a little bit. As an RN, I'm sure that you've got to really experience, you know, a lot when it comes to the different walks of life and the, you know, the trials that an individual might go through.
Right. And that really is a setup for the kind of work that we do at Vitality. But so I graduated in 1980. That tells you how old I am. I went to school. Well, I grew up in Northern Illinois. Family of 5 brothers and 1 sister, and then went on to Minnesota. I had family and friends there. So, and I was interested in doing my education with Rochester Mayo Clinic. So that was a great experience, very expansive. So went there, but came back into Illinois. My primary first years of nursing were with spinal cord injuries. So there's a lot of heavy lifting per se and a lot of emotional stuff. Then I transitioned into ER care and moved to Springfield, Illinois. And that's where I met my husband, Stan. He was a paramedic. I was a nurse. It was kind of like a show. But it's what happened. And, you know, and really just kind of galvanized my life beliefs. You know, watching people, especially in ER, you see people fighting for their lives, you know, and you just realize as you grow older and you learn the science and the DNA and the biology of human life, that just really kind of galvanized my belief. And along that same time frame, you know, I was growing in faith and understanding God as creator. And so it was really all those things in tandem. Yeah. And I could go on. There's many life experiences that probably helped.
Well, and when you get up to that point where, you know, you're looking at, joining the organization and volunteering.
Yes.
What was there a moment to where it really connected not only your career, your life journey and your career, but your spiritual journey too? Was it almost like that perfect intersection where you could pull them all together? Because that's what it almost seems like just talking the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I really think so. I think, growth, we grow in everything, emotions, physical, everything. But spiritually, I did feel, and back up a little bit, I will say I have an adopted son.
Okay. Who
came out of a very close call with abortion. And so his mom chose life courageously. So I had always really honored that, that choice she made. Obviously, we have a son out of that. But just the difficulty of that. I mean, my heart had been softened towards that whole situation and understanding the difficulties that women face. So that mission, the mission of Vitality, the compassion, the understanding and knowledge of medical things, I just thought it was a perfect time. It wasn't me that was thinking that. It was probably God. Put it on my heart like, you could do this. Yeah. And my husband was great. It's volunteer. So you move out of, a paying position into volunteerism, which is been really wonderful, actually.
Well, and it's so, honestly just fascinating to hear, Jackie, that everyone that we've talked to so far on our weekly segments, it's been, just a shared connection in some way, shape, or form to really, meet individuals that are coming in for care where they're at.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah,
And how do you think that ties into really the day-to-day and just the functionality of the office? Because I truly don't think you could have nearly the legs of an organization and the footprint in that network without having individuals that are truly connected in some way, shape, or form with that wheel.
Absolutely. No, I think having, just the resources and having so many people in the community that really care about this, I just feel it's such a blessing to have Carrol and so many nurses from around the region that say, we want to find a way to give back. We want to plug in. And her story with adoption. And I think those are the stories that we need to tell. I think there's so many opportunities. Even as I meet kiddos and, they're going through the process, you just see a spark of hope. To see them begin a journey of, what are they created to do? And they begin to step into this thing and to have, a support system of just loving people that want to see them grow and do all those great things. I mean, to hear Carrol talk about it, it's, I'm blown away. Like, I think there's so many times, she'll come and she'll talk about her grandkids, which are adorable. Those are the things that you just like, tell me more, I mean, I can't, it's such an incredible thing to see all the community members come together to step into these nonprofits that want to pour into the community. And I think it's just an incredible thing to see.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes into, how this is really a calling. And we touched on that, in notes and talking about this before, but it's not, convenience of just saying, well, I want to volunteer somewhere. And this is a group that a lot of people talk about. I mean, you really feel it in your, heart to do this work.
Right.
And I think that's what's really so interesting. And now, as we're, going into this, has there been a moment along the way, Carrol, where you're like, this is why I'm doing this? And I'm sure they might happen more times than I think.
Yeah, probably many moments.
Yeah.
And part of it is the culture of Vitality, the people there. Like you were talking about having legs in the community, but I feel like the women and some of the men volunteers that we've had, have lived life. It's not like this rosy garden, easy. It's like, they get it. And we do have the ability to spark hope in people because of lived life experiences and then our hope and faith in God and understanding that as we look at people made in the image of God, we can see everyone has so much potential. So that's kind of what sparks me when I see that. And I see that even now in the parenting classes. Yeah. And it's like when a woman will just get something or have a great question or maybe a great prayer request, you just have this, it's like you just want to hold their hand and say, you go, girl, you can do this.
What does a day in the life of Carrol look like at Vitality being a volunteer? Is there different hats that you have to put on at different times?
Well, really, in my time there, it's been two different segments of time. So really, the first 6 years was the clinical time, where I spent more one-on-one with patients. I did not become an ultrasonographer, which many of our nurses are trained in that. I was pretty much mainly in the supportive role there as well, just with histories, obtaining pregnancy tests, STIs, educating women, a lot of interaction. And then we do a lot of, one thing that's important is that we observe another nurse when she does the ultrasound. So you get to interact and observe that those babies on the screen, which is an amazing part of what we do for the women and for us.
Yeah. Do you think that there is a part of the work that's and services that are provided, whether it's the STI testing, the ultrasounds, is there one service that you think really, provides that next tier for women in the area that you saw, in your 12 years with, Vitality now, that really, elevated where, women felt comfortable? Is there, just from your perspective, that you've been in?
I mean, obviously, when women get to see the ultrasound, that's
a huge
just
moment.
huge.
I can imagine.
That's a huge moment, very transformative. But even just the connections that we've made with the STI testing, and even we have, because now I'm doing a whole different thing, which includes audits. So I see patients and like return patients. So we have a large group of women in the community who come back who are happy with their services and come back for either pregnancy testing or STIs, and just need that helping hand, education, resources, and so those are the things that connect us.
And before we take a quick little pause here, I got to ask, have you seen an individual that comes in that maybe has a different thought on what, vitality is whenever they walk through the doors, and, whether that's, they don't want me to, get, an abortion, or they
Right.
they want me to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Have you seen that, kind of misconception, and then also see that mindset shift as the services are being performed and rendered?
Oh, yeah. I mean, clearly some women come in and they're very abortion determined, or they're very clear on what they want. We are very respectful. That's the culture. It's very respectful. We're here for you no matter what your choices are, but we have support ideas and options that we want to share with you before you make a final decision, like Lori was talking about last week on the segment. But that does change in some women. It's like they see that baby, they see the heartbeat, and it's just this amazing transformation even on their face. And as a photographer, I can say, I just wish I could get a picture of that. When that happens, it's amazing.
Well, and it really would be, and how unique of a project if you were able to actually capture those moments, and really showcase those. And, Jackie, we're going to take a break here in a couple of moments. But before we do that, we've been doing this a couple of weeks now. You're getting more established into your role, and it's got to almost, with having volunteers that are dedicated like Carrol, and, having, different individuals that have just been there for so long.
Yeah.
What have you been able to take away the most just in your interactions? Not necessarily learn, how to complete your tasks, but what have you just taken away for, your overall outlook on things?
It really has been incredible. Just to see, I was not prepared for some of the stories that would come through.
Yeah.
Without going into any specific details or any of the young ladies, but I guess just the age gaps, from so very young to much older than I would have anticipated. Those that were coming back after multiple pregnancies, and just, I would run into friends that I've known for so many years. And even just yesterday, I had somebody in and we're having a conversation, and I was like, oh, let me take you through so I can give you guys a tour. I was here 10 years ago. And I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
And people that I've known for so long, I had no idea that we've served them in the history of what we've been doing. And so that has really been eye-opening for me. And I think those are some of the stories we're going to share at the dinner is, when we had a board member going through the community and she was running into people in different stores, they were running up saying, yeah, I've been through your doors, in the 90s or in the early 2000s. And now I'm holding my grandbaby. And to see those, and now they're coming back in with the next generation. And I'm just blown away that, I think about, I grew up in Alton and I didn't know they were here. And I think about, my own experience, like had I known, I absolutely would have come in, but I just didn't know. And so that's what's so exciting is I feel like we're in a new day. We're starting with a new name. We've got new opportunities, and we want to get the stories out because I feel like that's where we can really impact change. As more people are aware of all the services we can provide, we can see that shift the moment that we capture.
Right.
That heartbeat on that screen, that's when I've seen the change. That's when I see a girl go, oh, there's my baby.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible thing. I mean, I could sit here and talk all day about this.
Because instead of I think it's just like we talked about before. It's not necessarily saying, hey, here's what you need to do with what situation you're in, because that's not really our say.
Right.
It's just not. I've always believed that there's somebody up above that is going to be the decider on that at the end of the day, and it's not me.
Exactly.
And so just to be able to provide resources, provide those opportunities, and just say, here's what they are, and here's how we can help you if you want to do this.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
There's freedom in that.
Yeah, 100%. We'll do this. We'll take a quick break. I got to pay a bill on this Wednesday morning, 9:33, a little bit of change. More Daily Show comes back to us next.
Firearms training shouldn't feel intimidating. At Precision Point Armory in Bethalto, we focus on safety, confidence, and real-world skills. Whether you're new or renewing your concealed carry, you'll get professional instruction without pressure. Learn safe handling, sound decision-making, and proper techniques tailored to your experience level. If you're looking for premium firearms training in the heart of Bethalto, Illinois, call 618-779-9947. Or go to precisionpointarmory.net and train with confidence today.
Struggling with depression that just won't go away? At Precision TMS, we offer a non-invasive, drug-free treatment designed to target the areas of the brain linked to mood regulation. Using FDA-cleared transcranial magnetic stimulation, gentle magnetic pulses help reactivate underperforming brain circuits without surgery or sedation. Many patients experience real relief, even after other treatments haven't worked. Our experienced team provides personalized care every step of the way. Contact Precision TMS today to see if TMS therapy is right for you.
Accidents happen in a heartbeat, but lives change forever. Whether it's a car crash, workplace injury, medical malpractice, or wrongful death, you don't have to face the consequences alone. Keith Short and Associates brings over 33 years of experience and a reputation for fighting fiercely for your rights. For relentless representation that you can trust, call Keith Short and Associates at 618-254-0055 today for a free consultation.
What's up? It's Mike Keith. What's up, bro? Back to spotlight other amazing alumni and how they discovered their path at Lewis and Clark. Let's jump into it. This is Tom Wells,
an assistant chief of the Godfrey Fire District. He has been a firefighter and an EMT for over 20 years. Tom is currently an instructor in the Lewis and Clark Paramedicine program and has 2 degrees from LC, fire science and nursing.
I'm Tom Wills, and I'm a trailblazer.
If you think you might be pregnant, you don't have to face it alone. At Vitality Women's Clinic, you'll find the care you deserve. We offer confidential, no-cost pregnancy testing, ultrasounds, and STI testing. Our team is here to listen, support you, and help you understand your options without pressure or judgment. Walk in or make an appointment today. Call 618-466-1690 or visit vitalitywomensclinic.org. Vitality Women's Clinic, clear answers, real support.
Welcome back, 9:35, a little bit of change. Back with Carol, back with Jackie, Vitality Women's Clinic, and we're getting to learn more about, really just Carol's journey with Vitality and the overall services provided leading up to the annual dinner, which is Friday, April the 10th at Lewis and Clark Community College. And Jackie has promised that this is not going to be one of those events where you're like, doing one of those,
And if you are and you're in the crowd, just signal me like steel throat, like Jackie, shut it down, Great.
Going back into the conversation, what is your favorite part, Carol, about supporting the women beyond that initial appointment? I know you hit on it a little bit with the classes and some of the services, but are you able to ever really keep up, a connection with some of the women that walk through? Is there just a component that you like more than anything over that?
The main component is if they revisit or they come back with their babies.
Yeah.
Or and in the parenting role that we're doing this Zoom parenting class now that's been really awesome. We have great curriculum. Those women, obviously are coming. It's so convenient for them because they can have their children in tow, the baby, whatever. And so that's where we really connect. But as far as ongoing relationships from a clinical perspective, it doesn't really happen maybe in the communities, but we kind of let the women lead on that because there's the professional aspect of that and privacy and things like that.
Well, and it leads me into the big question, and I know it kind of sounds like not a gotcha, but just more of a tough one. Is I'm sure at this point there's different aspects in life that we could go. You've done this for 12 years. Is there a reason that you keep getting up and saying yes to this every day?
Well, I would say the yes for me is, and I thought about this before I even came, is the mission. Yeah. I just feel like the mission, the life-saving mission, and the need for more people in our communities to stand in the gap. We see that. I want to say that a plug-in for all of our non-for-profits, standing in the gap for people, whether it's, financial needs, housing, all those kinds of things. I feel like there's room and space and need for what we do, and for us to really lift up women and the name of Christ, really, if they're wanting to know more about that. We offer that as well, in our spiritual conversations. But I do think that just the fight for life, the mission is what really keeps it fresh for me. And also, stepping back into more of a support role that I've been doing in the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm. And it leads into, as we're wrapping up the conversation, what would you say to somebody considering, volunteering? What would really be that big, call to action, or that big, equation factor into really if it's the right fit for the organization? Only saying that because we said it has to really be a calling, for this.
Yeah, I really think volunteerism, first of all, is super important to the functioning of a healthy community, for one thing. And then also in our specific situation, it is a mission that's honorable. It's needed. It's, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get to walk alongside people. I mean, so it just depends on the person and how they want to volunteer. And it might be a guy that just wants to do our tech support, or something, but he knows he's contributing to the mission to support life, to help women. And, inadvertently, when you support families and see healthy families and people grow, it's just a healthier community, a healthier world that we get to live in. So it's a lot of reasons why it'd be great to volunteer.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
That wasn't written down, by the way. I was just looking at my notes. And it goes in, and it really bridges in perfectly to where it takes us to now, and that's the annual dinner, because all of this is on display that night. And, really coming together and just celebrating the lives that have been impacted and really making a difference. And Jackie, take me through this dinner that's coming up, because this is the big one.
This is the big one. It's our big event throughout the year. I think in the last few years, we've had less people. I think just maybe 200 to 250 people, and right now we've got well over that registered. So I think
Fantastic.
we may have 300 or 400 people in the room, and which is exciting. I would say that it's going to be more low key as far as the event side of it, but more exciting that you're going to be in the room with a lot more people. But we're just going to spend the night sharing stories. We're pulling in people that have had experiences, former patients, people that are now serving, that have, done some things in the capacity of the mission in the past. And it's just really going to be a night of sharing community stories and the heart of where we're going and the vision of what's coming. And that's what I think is so exciting, is that, there's so much work to be done and there's so much to do. And I feel like we're just getting started. And so we want to make sure we pack the room with as many people as possible. You'll get to eat really great food. Bella Milano, I can't stress that enough. Enjoy, good food with us. And Mike Roberts is going to be emceeing it, which we're really excited. He's been in the past and he just does a phenomenal job. And it's just going to be a fun night to celebrate and to share stories and all of the incredible things that have been happening over the last 6 months and where we're going. I think that's so key. If you can share a vision of where you're going with an organization, I just feel like that's such a key component to moving everybody forward with excitement and stepping into the purposes that they've been placed in there for. And like I said, we're going to need more help with what's coming. We're going to need more help, more people. And so we're going to really talk a lot about our ambassador program, the Grandma Gang. I'll tell you what, they are activated and that is growing. And, it's exciting to see. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Tickle in my throat. Fantastic. Well, and you have it on your screen here now. This is at vitalityspeaks.net, vitalityspeaks.net. Go to the homepage and it'll take you right over here where you'll see all these information here. You can donate and click on that to do so. You can reserve your tickets, though, for the event here by clicking on the link. Get tickets, and you can select them. Now, if you want to sponsor, that's always a great option. And with you guys being a 501c3, Uncle Sam will say thank you, and help you out at the end of the year.
Yes.
And you're doing a great thing and really helping community women and regional women in need, too. How far does your footprint go when it comes to that? I never asked that question.
We cover quite a distance.
Yeah.
We have people coming in from out of state,
Wow.
but we really want to focus on the core demo
Right.
of the surrounding cities of Alton, Godfrey, Jerseyville, East Alton, Wood River, Roxana, Bethalto, Edwardsville, Glen Carbon. You know, that's really the core.
Right.
I would say 95% of our patients are coming from this immediate surrounding area.
With that being said, you know, Carol, before I let you go too, I want to know what's it mean for you when the community shows up to, you know, events like this or just throughout the year, you know, from your position within the organization?
Well, I just think, you know, when the community shows up, first of all, it's more fun, like you were saying, but it's, you know, it's inspiring. And I feel like it kind of solidifies the commitment and helps you feel supported. So it's a real tangible support. So it's a great thing.
Fantastic. And, you know, as we're wrapping up here, make sure you get your tickets for Friday, April the 10th for the annual dinner where you can support Vitality Women's Clinic and the great services provided. Jackie, any final thoughts?
Just come and enjoy us and, you know, join us at the dinner. We can't wait to see you there. We've got incredible sponsors. I'm going to be sending out more communication on that. So thank you to all of our sponsors who are so greatly appreciated. And we've got more coming in today. So more to come on that.
Fantastic. Women, families, community. Really, what more can you want when it comes to the uplifting of an organization? Attend the annual dinner and make sure if you can, support, volunteer, donate if you can. Links available on a write-up on RiverBender.com. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with more show right after this.